This is Jeannie. Carrie wanted me to do her some fabric pumpkins to decorate her house with this week. So I picked out some. She wanted purple, orange, black, and some hot pink. So I found this velvet material at Hobby Lobby, and it has a two-way stretch. For any of the pumpkins that you cover, it's easier to work with a thin fabric that's thin enough but covers well and has two-way stretch. Now the only hot pink I could find is not a stretch fabric, but it's kind of a crepe hot pink, almost looks like velvet. It's thin, but you're not going to be able to see through it. So we'll try that and just see how that works. This is one that I've already covered. This is a pumpkin that I had covered a couple of years ago in a gold material. You may have seen my blog post for that. So I just took that off and covered it with the velvet. Now, these are just inexpensive styrofoam pumpkins. You don't need the hollow plastic kind. You need the ones that are made out of styrofoam. These came from Walmart, and they were, I think, $6.99 a piece. $5.99 or $6.99. I don't see the price tag, but I've got a couple of different sizes and shapes. I thought the price was on these, but anyway, they're at Walmart. So you want to be able to choose. These are some leftover ones. These are some that I had covered previously. This was with the sleeve of a sweater, and then here was just a little cream stretchy fabric. And these are some little pumpkins that I painted. I think these came from Dollar Tree. But I'm going to try, you have to be able to get the stems off, and you just kind of work them back and forward a little bit, get the stems off, and then we're going to try covering that with a little fabric. So let me move these out of the way, and we'll pick out one of these to start with. First thing I'm going to do is take the tag off, and then I'm just going to, the stems are plastic, but they're kind of hot glue, so I'm just going to, don't want to break it, but work it back enough to where I can pull it out and kind of save the top of the pumpkin. Anyway, that's what it looks like, and then that's what you've got. So we're going to need a little bit bigger hole for that. So I'm just going to take a spoon and just kind of wring that out a little bit, just to make that hole a little bigger, so we'll have enough space to poke our fabric down in there. You may have to, take a little knife. Once we start putting our fabric in there, we might have to make that hole a little bit bigger. So, since I've already used the purple once, I'm going to use this black. I don't know if you can tell that, but it's not polka dot. It's more like a little silver or a little crystal chip. And this pumpkin it's about 7 inches wide. So I'm just going to cut a square piece. That's about 22 by 22. And see if we can use that. All this material was about 54 inches wide, so and I just got a yard because I knew I would have different size pumpkins. Mat is backward to what I need right now, so that's why I was having to count off the inches. If you don't have one of these cutting mats, they are just really very helpful. Whether you're making wreaths or doing any kind of projects, it protects your table, and they have markings on for your measurements. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this all the way across. Square. It doesn't have to be exact. And then I can use this little leftover piece for a smaller pumpkin. So I'm going to turn your fabric, put your pumpkin on the wrong side. Now this particular fabric has got a one-way stretch. I got on a white shirt, you can't tell it, but it's a one-way stretch. But I think it's still going to work good. So we're going to put our pumpkin right in the center. And just to get an idea that we have enough material, I'm just going to pull that up, and it looks like we do. So I'm going to pull that up and just take a blunt end like this wooden spoon. And just poke those edges in that hole. And you know, like I say, you may have to go in there. I should have put on a different shirt. I didn't realize. Well, I had not planned to make pumpkins, and I had called Carrie to see if she wanted to make pumpkins, and she said the golf course with David. I'm going to cut some of this excess off. And so anyway, so I thought, well, I'll do a tutorial while I'm doing pumpkins. And I may have to make that hole a little bit bigger. I think I will, so let me just pull out what I've already done. And I'm going to take my scissors and just go in there and just kind of wring that out a little more. I'm not going all the way to the bottom or anything. I'm just making it a little bit bigger right here. Now I have made some, and I made the hole too big, and it made, you know, putting the stem back in there a little bit harder. I mean, because it would be so loose. So let's try that. Put that back. Okay. Just start pulling those edges up. Pull them in. And you may find that, you know, that you poked in too much from one side and you can't get, you know, the other side in. You just have to kind of keep fiddling with it. That's why it's helpful if you have material that's a two-way stretch. Kind of try to pull those out if you can. Some fabrics are easier than others. This far, and you've got like excess there. I'm going to cut that off. material a little smaller. Okay, I'll have to hold that away from it. And then you take your stem and just put it back in there. Now, you can hot glue those stems if you want to. I don't, because just like, with this one that I recovered, I pulled that material off. This was probably 2 years ago. I pulled that material off and used the stem again. Now, one thing that I will do on this stem, you can see the hot glue. If I can get that off, I will. Just to make it neater. Just take some needle nose pliers and pull on that hot glue. Most of the time it'll peel off just like that. And that way, when you put your stem back on there, it'll just look neater. I could have done this before I started. There we go. See, that's all peeled off. And then we're going to stick the pumpkin stem back on there. So that's it. Okay, so I'm going to experiment with a few others, and now that I've explained the process, I'm just going to let them be